Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is February 26, 2024, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, JP Morgan trades to all-time record highs and holding on to those gains. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. However, Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, will be issuing a corporate earning reports before the market opens U.S. time. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs, unchanged and consolidating. As we look at the indices, the Dow Jones trades and holds on to its all-time record highs, while the NASDAQ retraces. When we looked at commodities, gold has a fade opportunity, which means it spiked and then gave up some of those gains. And looking at oil, retracing from its resistance area. Now, when we look at the stocks, NVIDIA, after exploding to its record highs, gave up those gains. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Euro USD, it's stalling, meaning it got to a point where we moved up higher from 105 to 108. And at this point, it's really stalling. So, and on a daily chart, we're at a 200-day moving average resistance. So I do anticipate some sort of pullback here. At most, maybe 40 to 50 pips. Okay, we're really in a tight range here. So nothing really jumping out. So just keep that in mind when it comes to the Forex symbols. Let's jump into commodities. Gold had a spike last week to 2041 last Friday and then gave it up and retracing to 2032. We're around this area, 2040 to 2000 is the range. Okay, we're on the upper side of the range. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And this may be a short-term support. 2030 may be a short-term support. We may bounce off of it, so keep that in mind as this continues to trade. Now, looking at crude oil, we did retrace finally off of that resistance. We traded on resistance the entire week last week, and finally giving it up to $76 a barrel, and we're still on supportish level. Okay, this is a minor supportish level, but we're on supportish level. $70 to $68 is the next real support level on a longer time frame, so keep that in mind. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, Dow Jones on its dead highs, okay, and this is really important because JP Morgan made new highs and sustained those highs, didn't retrace off those highs, and we're right there. 39,134 as we're going into a year election, the markets are going higher. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, not as positive, meaning it did retrace 49 to 50 points. Not a big deal, but it's not on its dead highs. That's the important part here. Okay, now if we look at the individual stocks, this is the one, JP Morgan on its all-time highs, okay, at 183, just shy of 184, where we traded into last Friday. Question is if this is an exhaustive move, because that looks like an upside hammer, and generally speaking, that's an exhaustive move, and we're going to see a sell-off. So keep that in mind as we see that today. I want to be very cautious going into today's session, especially as things are still kind of finding themselves. Now, looking at another strong stock, Amazon on its dead highs, okay, still very, very strong. The next strong stock is Facebook on its highs as well, just shy of that 487. Now, this may not sustain itself. We may see a retracement, especially as we get into next week's trading. Now, looking at the softer stock that are not as strong, Apple, okay, it's close to its highs, but not on its highs, 13 points off of its highs. Also, Tesla sold off as that retraced as well. Now, looking at the big one, NVIDIA, okay, as this has been really a great trade, pushing higher, gapped up to $821 and then faded it to $797. That's very indicative, okay? Now, they're not going to show you, oh, we're going to go up. If NVIDIA has a lot of buyers, they're going to show some selling as well so that it doesn't go to 1,500 like that, okay? That's what the concern is for those that are trading it, those that are buying it. Now, remember, we were at $200 just a year ago. So for it to go to $800, really very, very, very strong for NVIDIA to do that. Now, lastly, looking into today's session, Bitcoin remains to be trading just sideways, really flatlining here. Again, I overemphasize this every time we cover it, is that it's going to have a wild move. And when it does have that wild move, it's going to possibly continue to that wild move, but it hasn't shown it to us for over a week or so, maybe even 2 weeks, hasn't really given us that real move in either direction. I mean, that includes about 10 days to 15 days, almost 2 weeks of just consolidating around this 51 to 52,000-ish level. Like I said, if we're going to have a extreme move, that's when you want to place that price action. That's when you say it. But you got to be really watching it the whole time. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.